So again, welcome all to Hui 66. We'll take our first three items in the usual way together: apologies, declarations of interest, and confirmation of minutes. And noting, I think our single apology is for Dennis. That will be recorded in the usual way. I'm pretty sure everyone else is here. For declarations of interest, again, remind members to keep their registers of interest current and do that with the management team. And third, we've had the previous minutes before. Again, recognising that we're in an online forum, the way we'll conduct today is I'll move each of the agenda items and then have members for each item confirm that they're happy to second, and then we'll make our decisions. So taking those first three items together, apologies, declaration of interest, and confirmations of minutes, I'll move. I see Alf will second that. All those in favour say aye.
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 Or indicate with visual forms in the usual way with flags or the like. And so that's all been confirmed, thank you. So that's passed. That takes us to item 4, Takurunga Visitor Facilities, and I'll ask Nick and Liz to speak to this item, please. Thank you.
Kia ora, Paul. Kia ora koutou. Just a quick recap on this paper and what's the key elements and the proposals that are put forward. This presents concepts for changes to the Tihi and courts area at Takurunga Mount Victoria. These concepts have come about because of the change in the way that people are using the Maunga now that the place has been pedestrianised. So there's no longer a need for the car parking at the Tihi, and people are spending longer on the Maunga, so there is provision for toilets at a wharepaku now. The Tihi concepts are essentially a reduction in the amount of asphalt at the Tihi, as well as some other changes to support the way people walk around and use the Tihi now that the car park will be gone. The proposal also includes the location of wharepaku at the current tennis courts area and a revitalisation of that space by strengthening the vegetation, planting native specimen trees around the edges of that space, providing some native amenity planting within it, and considering the provision of hupara elements in that space as well. That's about the summary of the changes proposed within the concepts, and you'll see those in the paper.
Kia ora, Liz. Just checking, Nick, is there anything you want to add?
Only to say that the plantings will occur down at the bottom. There'll be some removal of asphalt at the tennis court, but the intention is to keep it as much as it can be as it remains at the moment, and we will be bolstering the amount of native plantings at that site.
Kia ora, Nick. So recognising there is the matters that have been spoken to that are for this decision, and that there are ongoing matters for further discussion and papers from the management team to bring back to the authority, can I please open it up for any discussion? Kia ora, Tony.
Kia ora, Paul. Just a quick question I forgot to ask Liz. Is the fencing around the tennis courts going to be removed, because it's quite old and tatty and dilapidated looking, isn't it?
Kia ora, Tony. The fencing around the tennis courts will have to be retained for any kind of use of the court space, but we'll seek to minimise it where we don't need to have it fenced.
So once the wharepaku is in place, would you, in its current form, because we haven't worked on the next stage of what's going to be there, would you still go into the tennis courts and then down to the wharepaku to make use of the toilet facilities?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. And then the water that you've got located, where is that going to be exactly if the tennis court asphalt's not lifted up at this stage?
Just to read, we will be removing some of the asphalt in order to accommodate the toilets, but there'll be sufficient asphalt remaining for at least one tennis court.
Yeah, I'm talking about the water fountain. You said you're going to do it at the same time as the wharepaku?
The water fountain typically will be located a little way away from the wharepaku in order to satisfy tikanga requirements, but the lines will be placed at the same time they won't need to remove the entire asphalt to place those lines. They can just trench them, hopefully.
Yeah, but in terms of where the water fountain itself comes out of the ground, where's that? Is that going to be out of the asphalt, or is that further away where there's currently planting?
The fountains will be located within the amenity area, so not on the asphalt of the courts.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much.
And also acknowledging the discussion that that'll be one of the matters that the team will further consider and bring back in terms of location of those types of matters. Kia ora, Kathy.
Oh, hi, Liz. Could you just talk me through disability access both to the whare paku and to the tihi, and also the seating arrangements for people once they get up there?
Kia ora, Kathy. Just to start with the courts area, the whare paku is located at grade, which is to say that you will access it off the tihi road flat without having to use ramps or stairs, and then travel along the flat area of the courts currently towards the whare paku, and there will be all access cubicles as part of that whare paku. At the tihi itself, there'll be limited mobility car parks provided there within the remaining asphalt area, and the seating will be whatever seating's proposed around the edge of what is now asphalt but will be grass, will be accessible through some form of hardened or reinforced grass.
How many mobility spaces will there be on top?
I think the plans indicate 3, but it might be 4. I just need to check exactly.
4. Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you for the site visit. It was really good to see the lay of the land, and I think we've come a long way with the design. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Other discussion? I'll move this paper. Can I have someone to second, please?
Tony.
Kia ora hauauru. Thanks, Bernie, as well. So if we can signal by audio or the raised thumbs or flags, all those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against,
Aye.
abstentions? Carried, thank you. Takes us to item 5, takarunga tracks. Kia ora, Liz, kia ora, Nick.
Kia ora, just a quick run through of the paper that's on the agenda with respect to the takarunga tracks. What's proposed in this paper is a rollout of the track upgrade work that has happened across the other maunga and is now proposed here for takarunga. You'll remember that the main off-road track to the tihi was upgraded to our current standard, and that was finished in November 2019. The project before you now is to upgrade the route around the base of the maunga to that same standard. So that would be an 800 to 1200 mil wide aggregate pathway with boxed stairs and soft retaining walls where we need them. That's the green route shown on the plans. The green route around the base of the maunga that's shown on the plans. The tracks that are shown on the terraced areas just below the tihi are mown, and the intention is for those tracks to remain mown. And the track will be upgraded all the way to where it joins with the main tihi road adjacent to the courts area.
Kia ora, Liz. Just checking, Nick, anything to add before we open it up for discussion?
Nothing to add from me.
Kia ora, Nick. So we'll open up for discussion. Any questions? Thank you. If there's no questions or discussions, I'll move the paper and I'll ask Bernie to second the paper. Thank you. And all those in favour say aye or show. Thank you. Kia ora, carried. Takes us to item 6, all Arakataura tracks. Kia ora, noa, Liz.
Kia ora. Again, this is a rollout of the track upgrade program that's occurred across the other maunga to the same standard. The tracks that are proposed to be upgraded in this particular project are those that adjoin the surrounding streets, all the pedestrian accesses to the surrounding streets between them and the Maunga, as well as the main track that traverses the central ridge of the Maunga towards the Tihi. In addition, we're proposing closing some of the tracks on the Maunga that are causing damage to intact archaeological features or are better presented by road access to the Tihi. So in the plans that are in the agenda, the red dotted line are the tracks that are to be closed, and the yellow lines represent the tracks that are going to be upgraded to that track standard that I mentioned just before.
Kia ora, Liz. And again, Nick, just checking with you first.
Nothing from me, thanks.
Kia ora, Nick. We'll open it up for discussion. Any questions or comments? Kia ora, Kathy.
Oh, thanks, Liz. I'm very familiar with Old Wairaka, and I have a few questions. The first is the ridge walk, or the walk along the ridge that's going to be closed, has a couple of installed benches at various points. What will happen to those? That's my first question. My second one is, how will you signal to the users of the Maunga that what's coming? So how far out is the first communication from the TMA to the public?
Kia ora, Kathy. Where we're closing the access towards those benches and seats, we'll look to remove or relocate those seats in accordance with the policy that we have. And for your second question around comms, typically we place signage on the Maunga 2 weeks before the projects are due to start, just to let people know that there's works about to commence. And typically we provide diagrams, illustrations or maps that show which tracks are going to be affected by either closure or by upgrade.
And how do we actually communicate the reason behind the closure?
Typically that's also included in the project information on the signage and any of the other communications plan comms that go out with that to other stakeholders and to the general public. And that's just around protecting the Maunga and protecting those features from future damage.
Great, thank you.
Sorry, I was just on mute. I'll move the paper. Can I ask Kathy to second the paper, please? And all those in favour say aye or show otherwise, please.
Aye.
Got it, thank you. Aye. Thank you. That takes us to item 7, Onehunga Māngere United Sports Club lease. Kia ora, Lee.
Kia ora koutou. This paper is to seek a decision from the authority on the Onehunga Māngere United Sports Club lease. We are proposing an initial term of 1 year for the lease plus a one year right of renewal after that period of time. Otherwise, the remainder of the terms would be within our standard lease framework. Other than that, I'll take the report as read and happy to answer any questions.
Kia ora, Lee. We'll open it up for discussion.
Thanks, Chair. I have a partai and a comment. Thank you, Lee, for the work, and I do want to acknowledge your authority and also the club. My question is did the club advise how many members they have in their membership?
Not that I'm aware of, no. We've been kind of having discussions on the lease itself, as opposed to their membership.
Thank you for the reply, and I just have a comment to make with regards to the soccer club. Did they highlight, my second partai through you, Chair, did the club highlight that they have a relationship with the Mangere Mountain Education Trust?
Not specifically through the course of our discussions, no.
Thank you for the replies through you, Chair.
Kia ora, Manga. Kia ora, Chris.
Kia ora, Mr. Chair. Just a comment, reiterating what I said in the workshop. I think there's a good opportunity for us to be putting out good comms around this lease and the changes in especially around the alcohol policy. I think it's a great outcome for the Maunga, but I think there's a wider Auckland that needs to know the great outcomes that the Maunga Authority is achieving through this policy.
Kia ora, Chris. Any other discussion? Just before we move to a decision, members, the team would have noted those partai and be good for them to follow those partai up, and also the comment in terms of the comms piece. So I'll move the paper. Can I ask Alf to second the paper, please?
Aye.
Thank you. All those in favour, please confirm.
Aye.
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 Kia ora, thank you. Now brings us to the item in relation to the planting update, item 8. And kia ora, Jordan, I think we have, and or Nick. Kia ora, Jordan.
Tēnā koutou. So this is a planning update. Just very quickly, I'll take the paper as read and mention one additional comment not included in the report, and that is that our last Māngani community planning that was scheduled for last Saturday, the 21st, had been cancelled due to COVID lockdown. But this also means that that brings our community and schools planning events to a finish for another planning season on our Maunga. And just lastly, the photos attached on the report are from our Puke Tāpapa community planning event, where we saw roughly 50 people come and go throughout the day. I'm happy to take any questions or feedback from members.
Kia ora, Jordan. I'll just check with Nick for any additional comments.
Just like to acknowledge the team for giving up a lot of their weekends during the planting season, in particular Jordan and Brooke. Have done a wonderful job at communicating out to the community, making sure that we're really well organised, making sure that our visitors are manaaked on our Tūpuna Maunga with a kai. Also Rec Services also pitching in, manning the barbecue for most of those events where they can. So really good team effort, really proud of the team. And yeah, it's been great to be a part of, and we'd welcome members to join us on planting days in future years.
Kia ora, Nick. And I'll just open it up and to say again, important to acknowledge our team who give up a lot of their personal time, weekends, when they could be with whānau, all for the restoration of the Tūpuna Maunga and of the many programs that the team undertakes. A lot of positive comment comes back in relation to the restoration programs in terms of that tangible work, in terms of seeing those results, and that being an important ongoing part of our program. So I'll open it up for any discussion. I'm happy to move. Can I ask Josephine to second, please?
Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favour, please confirm.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion
Aye.
carried. Takes us to item 9 and the registers. Sorry, starting with health and safety. You're on mute, Nick.
So there's 2 items to report on the health and safety risk register, health and safety incident register. The first being some cars driving over just a small knoll. If you know where the between I guess Tahaki Reserve and where the old bus stop places, there's a little bit of a hill, and someone's driven over there and caused some surface damage. That's the first time that's happened, but we do note there's been some regular occurrence with vehicles getting onto the Tūpuna Maunga of late. Looking down the register, motorcycles at Te Tātua and or Huiarangi have been occurring, and as well as quad bikes. So we are seeing an increase in these types of issues and activities. For the most part, that site has been remediated, and we'll be looking at putting some grass seed in there in the spring. And we are considering other CCTV options in different locations where we currently have libs, just to bolster our security across the Tūpuna Maunga. The other one was relating again to just some vandalism inside or Huiarangi tulips, and just noting that that sort of stuff is happening. And again, just looking at CCTV options for those sites.
Kia ora, Nick. Is there any discussion on that register? We'll move to the events register. Anything you want to add to the register, Nick?
No, happy to take that register as read.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on either of the registers, folks? If not, that brings the hui to conclusion. And can I just add, with those announcements coming this afternoon in terms of the next steps for the pandemic response, just really wishing you all and your whānau wellness and safety, and stick together and be safe. Oh, kia ora, Zailing. Oh, kapa. Oh, actually, while I've got you, oh, sorry, I always forget this one, just Dominic reminded me. I'll move that motion, and Zailing, can you second that, please? Thank you.
Kia ora.
Can everyone confirm approval of the motion, please?
Aye.
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 Thank you. I'm just mindful in terms of us closing, the connection that Clay had wasn't that flash. So I wonder if what we do is, actually, could I ask Zailing, could you whakakapia tō tātou hui koa?
Kia ora. O tēnei kamihi atu kia koutou katoa, Tūpuna Maunga Authority, koutou ngā iwi mana whenua, koutou ngā mema o ngā puari a hapori, ko ngā kaupapa hohonu rawa kia hau, te aroha hoki ki o tātou maunga. Nō reira me noi tātou. Pauhihiri, paurarama, pau o te whakaaro, pau o te tangata. Pau o te aroha, te pauhere nei i a tātou. Mauri ora ki a tātou, haumi e, hui e, tae
Tae
re.
ki.
Kia ora, Zailing.
Kia ora.